Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hi, everybody. We're back again.
Hi.
And tonight, we're going to be doing what I had promised, at least for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about one of our favorite things. We're going to be talking about Disney.
Yay, and how we get there and how we plan it, all the fun stuff.
Exactly. What we do when we get there, how we get around, talk about how we get food, talk about how, well, yeah, we just
how to plot your course, how to plan, because it's a big deal. It's a lot. You want to get bang for your buck. So
exactly. And, getting from point A to point B is, actually kind of very, very important. The main thing that I do want to talk about tonight, though, definitely is the planning portion. Yeah. Disney's a big deal, okay? Disney is a huge deal.
It's an investment. It's costly, so you do want to make sure you're utilizing as much as you can for the whole time you're there, I guess, But also not forcing yourself to doing the Disney Death March or any of that.
We'll talk about that. We will talk about that. One of the things that I really, really want to stress, and I need to slow down. I need to slow down. I am so excited about this particular subject because,
Because the fun part of the fun is the planning of it. That's
exactly
exciting, and getting all excited about what you're going to do. And I mean, we've been so much that we still get excited about all of it. We
are. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Charles Murray Todd, and I'm a Disney adult. So we're going to begin there.
There you go.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I am essentially a very big kid when it comes to this particular thing. I mean,
that's part of the magic.
Exactly. And that's what I live for that.
Yeah.
I live for that. But let's start out. Disney's big.
Both of them are big. One is half the size of the other one, but they're both big.
Actually,
you got to plan.
Anaheim is about a quarter the size.
Yeah. Well, I was talking number of parks, but
yeah.
Semantics. My gosh.
We'll talk about that too. Just the differences between the land and the world.
Yes.
And that's something you're going to be hearing from us a lot tonight. Is when we refer to Orlando, that's the world,
and that's on the East Coast.
Right.
Florida.
Yeah. And when you hear us talk about Disneyland, it will be referred to as the land, and that's Anaheim.
The West Coast.
That's the OG. That's the original. That's, in my mind, okay, I'm going to start a fight here. That's the best park. Okay, that's just the best park.
Fight me.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, it's true. That's when I talk with people, they're like, which one's which? So it's really is important to distinguish which one's the West Coast, which one's the East Coast. And for us here where we live, one is closer than the other. So that's going to play a big role in deciding which one to go to, which we're going to talk about as well.
Right. Now, I am going to address this right now, right immediately.
Okay.
Magic Kingdom in Orlando is very similar to Disneyland, okay? But it's not the same.
No.
Okay. In Disneyland, just as an example, you have New Orleans Square. That's where Pirates of the Caribbean is. That's where you board the Columbia sailing ship or the riverboat. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's New Orleans Square. Actually, I take that back. Columbia and riverboat are bordered in Frontierland.
But it's on the border, though.
Right.
So you cross into New Orleans Square. And Tiana's restaurant, what is it called?
Tiana's Palace.
Is in New Orleans Square.
Yeah.
So.
And soon to be Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
That's where I was going with that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's, replaced Splash Mountain. And I know there's feelings. I'm sorry.
Interestingly enough, in Disneyland, Haunted Mansion is in New Orleans Square.
That's right.
So
that's right.
That's kind of the big distinction.
Yeah. And now in Magic Kingdom, in Orlando, the Haunted Mansion is in Liberty Square. Mm-hmm. The Riverboat is in Liberty Square. there is no Columbia sailing ship in Magic Kingdom. So there
And
we are.
Pirates is in Adventureland
Right.
in Orlando, not at Disneyland.
Right.
So
And that's
And-
we could actually do a whole episode
like of the differences.
well, just on the differences, but just on why Pirates is in Adventureland in Orlando. We could do an entire episode. You know, I could spend an hour telling you about this. But regardless,
And Pirates is longer in Disneyland than it is in Orlando.
because that's the OG.
So,
Because that's the OG. Also, Haunted Mansion is also shorter in Magic Kingdom.
and that's Orlando.
Yep.
Yeah.
Haunted Mansion, again, OG in Disneyland,
Is long.
is a little bit longer. A little bit. It's how can I say it? There's about 30 seconds more of show in
In
Anaheim
Disneyland,
versus
the land versus the world.
Yeah. So anyway, how we start planning?
Well, we decide, hey, I feel like I need a Disney trip.
Yeah.
We have a conversation of who's hankering for Disney, and the hands get raised, and
Yeah,
like, me.
it turns into that whole we haven't been at least in a couple of years.
Months.
Well, okay, that's you. This last year for me, though, that was actually true.
Yeah.
In 2023, I had finally healed enough from my initial surgeries and all my bypasses and everything else that for my birthday and for our anniversary, for Chris and I, we went to Disneyland and California Adventure. Now, that was a grand time.
It was good. It was a good trip.
Yeah, but that was also the first time that we used the scooters, used the electric scooters.
Yeah.
They saved me.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't have been able to do it without them.
I would have been a crying mess.
Yeah, it would have been bad. So
Yeah.
Yay for that.
But yeah, we usually start planning our trips I was actually about a year in advance.
If it's a big one. If
Yeah.
it's like a spontaneous weekend, it can be as short as 2 months ahead of time, which we've done before.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
But you have to do that in the off season. You have to do
Yes.
that when it's a slower time. You have to be really strategic about it. Like during July, don't even think about it.
Right.
But if it's like a September, October, January, February, you could get away with doing a real quick weekend.
That's true. And also if you are not planning on doing any of the after hours events, then you're golden with about 2-3 months.
Yeah.
I would push it out to 4. The reason is because that's my OCD.
Well, that and then
You know.
dining plans. You can't do anything with dining until you're 90 days out. So you have to
Right.
be at least 90 days out to get any dining reservations or any of that, especially if
Exactly.
you want to do character breakfasts or sit-down restaurants or any of that.
Very true.
If, though, like during off-season, it is a little bit easier to do kind of walk-ups or those last-minute kinds of reservations, but 90 days out minimum if you want to kind of
Exactly.
plan those meals.
Exactly. And I will admonish you. Please make reservations. Make them early. Make them
Yes.
often. And check them. Check them frequently. Because you never know. You may be able to get an earlier spot.
Earlier spot, yeah.
Or a later spot. You never know. Or all of a sudden, we can't go to Trader Sam's because it's all backed up and all reserved for our trip. Next thing you know, we're what?
We
A
were
month out?
Yeah, and we
And
got a spot.
boom.
Yeah.
We didn't plan it.
And it's worth it, by the way.
Oh yeah,
It was
that's
very cool.
yeah. I'll throw in a little tiny video in one of the down a window down here or something for you to
It's
see.
really fun in there. Good food too. So
It is.
So yeah, it depends on the kind of trip that you want, but you want to plan it in advance because there are things that do require reservations, especially if you're going to do that. The other big choice is which direction are you going? Are you going east or are you going west?
Because that dictates just how far
How
out.
far out in advance you want to go.
Yes. Yeah. Just to give you an example of why it's a big deal. Disneyland, there are 2 parks, 3 hotels on property, and you can walk between the 2 parks.
And the hotels.
Yes.
amongst everything. Like everything
Exactly.
is
Everything
within
is
the neighborhood,
right there in walking distance.
which is a great advantage. By the way,
It's marvelous. It's absolutely marvelous.
yeah.
But if you're going to be going to Orlando, where did I put it?
4
Where did I put
parks.
it? Yes,
It's 25 hotels,
about 25 plus. Yeah, 25 plus hotels.
and then Disney Springs, which is actually considered another land,
Right.
or another park.
Yeah.
So it's It's huge.
Yeah, 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, 25 plus property hotels, 1 retail and shopping district. And then that's not adding all the good neighbor hotels that are
Right.
all ringing the entire
Just
property.
that are close enough to look like they're on property, but they're technically not.
Right. And there's businesses out there
Yeah.
too. It's this. If you
It's its own city.
the Reedy Creek. Well, I'm sorry, Central Florida Tourism District, which was Reedy Creek, is truly its own. It's its own city.
Yeah,
it's its own
municipality.
municipality.
Yeah.
It has its own fire department. It has its own police force. It has its own infrastructure with sewage.
They have their
trash.
own McDonald's.
Yes.
Let's be honest. They have their own McDonald's. That's what matters.
It's not a great McDonald's, but it's a McDonald's.
Port in a storm, Chuck.
Well, I hear you. Well, it looks fine. Okay.
Hey, it works.
It looks
anyway,
fun.
So it's just there's a big difference between the East and the West Coast. So again, when you're deciding, and then also there's a financial
Exactly.
thing to consider with either one. So just what kind of vacation are you planning for, and really where do you want to head? And depends on the time of year.
Certainly
Florida
does.
in July
That's not fun.
is amazing.
That's not
It's
fun.
amazing. Now,
Oh.
let's take a time out. We live in a very dry, arid climate, so humidity is not we're not friends.
No. No.
So that's something to consider.
Exactly.
Even when we go to California, it's like, you know, there's moments. So it is very regional in where you're at. So if you're wanting to travel during the fall, October is brilliant in Florida.
October's
September,
fantastic.
October is brilliant.
October's fantastic.
In California, I would say like even January, February is great.
January, February
May was
is okay.
awesome.
May was
May,
beautiful.
June is
Yeah.
great.
With Kat and I going over your birthday over the latter part of October.
Yeah.
It was great. Jacket weather in the evening.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but it can get chillier
Light
there.
jackets.
Yeah, it can get chillier there that
It
time
can.
of year. So it just depends. And rainier. It just depends.
I can't really judge if it was that cold or if it was the fact that I was sick.
You were not doing well.
No.
Well, but based on the video that you took and all the other guests that were there, they had light jackets on. They were fine.
Yeah. But
Sweatshirts.
it was, I will do Disneyland again in October. I will do Southern California again in October. In a heartbeat.
That fall
Yeah.
time is great.
I'll do that.
Yeah. So, just again, it depends on what time of year. So some of those parameters that you're looking at of timing, how much you want to spend, how much time you have available.
Exactly.
Those are all going to really dictate where you're going to go.
Exactly.
Keeping in mind, if you go east to Florida, you need to have a longer time there
Yes.
because our strategy is 1 park per day.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have kind of a flex day to hit the things that you want to hit, or a rest day or whatever.
Right.
And then your travel days are on the other side.
Right.
Because of where we live, getting to Florida is an all-day affair.
Yes.
We lose 2 hours. We call it losing 2 hours, but we lose 2 hours because we're in a mountain time zone and not Eastern. So, it's a 4-hour flight from where we're at. So, we have to leave at 7 a.m. and get there at 11 our time, but it's actually 1 o'clock local time. And then
Right.
it takes time to get to this resort. So
Right.
by the time your travel day and you're settled, it's 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon local time. It's
Exactly.
really not
Exactly.
trying to hit a park after that's kind of challenging.
Well, and also you have now with the fact that there is no longer a Disney bus from
Yeah.
MCO anymore, from the Orlando International Airport
Yeah,
to the resorts. It's rough.
a Disney designated bus. There are buses that they partner with now. That kind of changed a little bit, but you know, it is. Yeah, it takes some pre-planning for sure on that one.
Yes, and that is something definitely with Orlando. There's a whole lot more that you've got to plan for and think about than Anaheim. With Anaheim, yeah, I mean, weekend trip. Easy. No big deal.
But that's where regionally it's an hour and a half, 2 hour flight to either Anaheim or LA.
Right.
And then it's a 45-minute drive from either airport.
Right.
And then you're there. So it is just looking at where you're at geographically also is going to be a big play of where you're going.
Now, if you're planning on doing anything else other than Disney or anything else other than Disneyland and California Adventure, then you definitely need to think a little bit harder about what you're doing there. The reason is because just thinking is like, oh, yeah, we're going to go do Universal Studios as well. Universal Studios is in Burbank.
And that's
It's about an hour away.
Yeah.
About an hour away.
And that's not just because it's LA traffic. It literally is an hour away.
No, it's in,
It's
check the map, y'all.
It is there. Yeah, there's some distance.
Hollywood and Anaheim are not next door. Okay, they are not next door.
So the planning of it, and it's just choosing where you want to go, taking all of those considerations into play.
Exactly.
But the awesome part is that you're going to have a really great vacation either way, whether it's a quick little weekender or just a couple days away.
Exactly.
You can extend out a Disneyland vacation to a week long as well, because there is a lot of amenities that are within driving distance. You can get to a beach within a half an hour of Disneyland property. You can get to some really iconic things. You can go to Long Beach. That's about a half hour, 45 minutes away.
Right.
You get to see the Queen Mary. I mean, there's some really fun, iconic old Hollywood things to do in California. Rocky coasts. Here's the animal kid in me. You can tide pool, and it's amazing. Tide pooling is amazing. But like the seals and sea lions, you can go to Seal Beaches. Like, there's some great things to do to extend out that vacation. In Florida, however, you kind of need to dedicate it to a Disney vacation. Yeah,
if you're going to do Disney and you're going to do only Disney, you will not be leaving property.
Yeah.
Now, if you're anything like me and you are into the whole space technology thing and going over to the Space Coast and going over to Cocoa Beach and going over to Kennedy and seeing all the rockets and doing all the tour there, that's a day.
Yeah, because
that's an entire day.
Big drive away from the property, too.
Well, not only that, it's about an hour's drive, but it is a long tour once you're there. It's huge.
I remember.
Yeah, and you spend more time on a bus than you think you're going to, because the launch pads are not next door to anything. They're miles away from each other. The reason is, if one of those rockets blows up, it doesn't take out the whole facility.
Even when the rockets launch, that blowout is huge.
Yeah, the exhaust is incredible. Yeah. Just incredible.
All right, we're digressing.
Oh, it's big time.
Rabbit holes. But anyway, so you're choosing. So say we've chosen our most recent trips together.
Yes.
Was to the land.
Yes.
So let's talk about that, how we'd plan for the land, and then we'll kind of talk about how we plan for the world as we go along adjacent with that. Like we were talking about, when you plan for the land, you get to take into consideration you don't necessarily need to worry about transportation on property because everything's within walking distance.
Right.
So that's really great. So then, budget concerns are always there. So you've got 3 hotels to choose from. We've actually stayed in all 3.
Yes, we have.
We have stayed in which now is Pixar Place now, which was Paradise Pier.
Yes.
But it's more proximity location that we're going off of.
Right.
That's the more affordable of the 3 hotels when we're talking about Disneyland hotels. The mid-range one is the original, your favorite, where we always stay.
Well, not always.
Not always. If we're going to, we always default look there first and then go elsewhere, is the Disneyland Hotel. That's the original hotel.
Right.
Which you can probably do another podcast on.
Oh, yeah, and by itself, yes.
The high-end one is the Grand Californian. I love the aesthetics of that hotel. It's it is up my alley. I love it. It butts right up against California Adventure. There's an entrance from that hotel, directly into California Adventure.
Right.
It is a 5-minute walk to the the Disneyland gate.
Just about.
So it's like it is the one that's closest to both of the parks. So it's really
Right.
and you can walk out into downtown Disney as well.
Yes, exactly.
So it's right there.
Yeah, you will go through security at the hotel
to get into the parks. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fantastic.
So with that in mind, and that is the higher end. So you've got 3 budget friendly or budget conscious hotels to choose from.
Exactly.
The cool thing though is that how your time of year and how you're booking, you may get some really great deals.
You can.
On the hotels with your ticket packages. So be
Yes.
really strategic and looking at some of those discount plans that are out there, working with cast members, working with a concierge travel agent. So there's some ways of finding some helps for your budget if you need to.
Yeah, now definitely there are folks who can help you out with that. The thing to watch for, as far as what Alyce brought up about scheduling and time frame and when to go, when not to go. In Anaheim, they have a very high volume of local attendance. Okay,
Yes.
super high volume of locals. There is nothing. Apparently, there is nothing wrong with somebody who's local to Anaheim who says, "Let's go have lunch in Disneyland."
Yeah, they do that. People who work around or in the neighborhood
Yeah.
will use their
Yeah.
park passes to get in and go have lunch
because
at Carnation Plaza or
they're
something.
magic key
Wrong
holders.
park, but there you go.
They're magic key holders. They're annual pass holders.
California resident pass holders.
Exactly. That actually has gone away.
Oh, has it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
It used to exist.
That was one of the things that Bob Iger hit.
Iger or
Iger.
Okay.
It wasn't Chapek. It was Iger that did this
Got it.
one. But that's one of the things that they do that happens in Anaheim is a lot of local traffic. There's nothing wrong or there's nobody blinks about going to Disneyland, going to the Carnation Cafe or to the Plaza Inn just to have the chicken.
Yeah.
Okay?
They do, yeah. Do a little walk around and then leave. So,
Right.
yeah, it's very local.
Yeah, or, after work, stop. Hey, let's go to Disneyland because I want to go to Oga's Cantina.
Yeah. For happy hour after work.
After work. And it's like, how do you do this?
Well, yeah, passes,
how
man.
do you do this,
Just
man?
walk in.
But yeah,
So.
I'm very jealous of that. I'm very jealous of that because I would love to have that freedom to just go do, But be aware of that when you are planning your vacation going to this particular Disney property. Very high local attendance. Okay, a lot of kids. And every holiday is crowded in Disneyland and California Adventure. Every holiday.
Well, I'm going to say both coasts. That would be so. If you travel around a holiday.
There seems to... I may have it wrong. I don't know all the particulars. I don't have the statistics. I don't have the data to back it up. But it feels like Disneyland and California Adventure are extremely crowded because of locals.
During the holidays?
During holidays.
Yeah, sure.
The other thing to watch out for, not necessarily holidays, but spring break, don't do Disney over spring break. Don't do
If
it.
you can avoid it.
Yeah, if you truly can avoid, if you can't go any other time,
Go.
Just
Have fun. Just know it's going to be crowded. Just be ready.
Plug your nose, close your eyes, and jump in.
Yeah.
Okay. But other than that, I admonish you, don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it. But don't let it stop your fun, though.
Right.
Don't let it stop your fun. Remember that you're going there for a vacation just like everybody else. So, it could happen to you like it happens to us sometimes. All of a sudden, we don't intend to have people jump into our group and be with us.
But then we
make
some vacation friends. And
Yes,
it's
we
great.
do. The last time that you went with us, when Chris and I were in the scooters cruising down Main Street, it was crowded.
It was right after a parade. We jumped in at the end of the parade and we were going through there.
But it was that Tuesday that they were filming.
Oh, for the American Idol.
Yeah, for American Idol. So Main Street was nuts.
It was crowded.
It was nuts. So, Chris and I are doing the side by side, doing our thing, cruising along, because we had been there that evening, so we kind of knew what was going on and how to get back and forth and around. We're cruising down Main Street. We were going through towards Adventureland, and no, we were going through Frontierland again. We were going through Frontierland, and we're cruising down Main Street. There are two people behind us who...
One was also in a scooter.
Yeah. And not happy. Just not happy. Well, no, there were two of them that were in scooters.
Okay. I just remember the lady.
Oh, okay. Well, at that moment, I knew somebody was behind us, and it was like, okay, they're struggling. They're struggling hard. So, I turned around and said, so where are you headed? I said, we're trying to get over to Frontierland. So are we. Follow us. Let's go. Pop in formation. We're going.
And it was, but it kind of lightened the mood. It took their agginess off, and we just kind of were able to move through together, and it was real,
we adopted somebody. Yeah. That's what we did.
But you just got to roll with the punches too, and take what the part gives you, and move along with it. So once again, we talk about this when we talked about our travel. Is there are things that are going to happen? Just be aware they will. They will.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's really no way around it.
No. So when you kind of going back to the hotel thing, because knowing that, there's going to be times where it's really busy. Of the three, I already know the answer to this, but I want you to explain it. Of the three, why do you prefer, I'm going to change myself. Why do you prefer Disneyland Hotel over the other two?
Nostalgia. Really? That's really it. The Disneyland Hotel has changed so much. The last time that we were there, this is probably going to be an edit portion, so just bear with me here. The last time when we were still kids was in 1979, where it was you and I and Mom and Dad all at the Disneyland Hotel, and it was our first time ever at the Disneyland Hotel. The whole central area was very, very different than the way it is now. And we stayed over in the Frontierland Tower. That whole central area was very different. The whole where Goofy's Kitchen wasn't Goofy's Kitchen then. Where Steakhouse 55 was. It was not Steakhouse 55. It was Hooks.
And there used to be a mall underneath the Cinderella's Tower?
Actually, no. It's not Cinderella. It was the Fantasy Tower.
Fantasy Tower, thank you.
You're right. There used to be a mall there. Also, that mall extended out to the monorail station, which was right in front of the Disneyland Hotel, which it's not any longer.
Sad day.
Yeah. They took up all that and turned it into parking.
Yeah.
But I would have to say Disneyland.
Okay. Hotel number 2?
Hotel number 2 is got to be Grand Californian.
And then
Pixar Place or Paradise Pier
when
Hotel.
We were there. Yeah. Okay. For the accessibility and ease and aesthetic, I love the Grand Californian.
You can't beat it.
The lobby, I mean, it's amazing. I do like mine would be Disneyland Hotel would be second, but and it all has boiled down to it's the farthest away from the entrances. So the walk is a little bit longer, and at the end of the day, it's kind of rough.
Oh, okay,
it's kind of rough, a lot rough.
That walk from Disneyland to the Disneyland Hotel. Yeah.
So, there's some ways of getting around it, but that's a rough walk. And then only reason that I would say Pixar Place would be third is because of, I thought the aesthetics were cute and it was easy to get in and out of, but it's just I like the vibes better in the other two over that one. And it is definitely the most affordable, so the demographic is going to dictate that with a lot of families, a lot of littles. We love kids, so it's not that it's that big of a deal, but it changes the vibe of where you're at and what you're doing. But those would be the three. Honestly, it's a Disney hotel, so you're going to have a great experience, and there's going to be some great amenities. I would say Disneyland Hotel might pop itself up because our favorite character breakfast is Goofy's Kitchen, and it's right down in the lobby. I mean, we hands down, we're going to do that every single time. So no matter what hotel we're staying at, we're going to Goofy's Kitchen.
Exactly.
Trader Sam's is also on that property, so that's a great place to go and have an experience. Even without not having a park day, you can do that, and it's a lot of fun. So there's some things that it just depends on what you're wanting to do and plan. There's great things at each of the hotels.
Well, and I honestly think that out of the three that are on the property there's really no bad choice.
No, absolutely not. No.
They do not have any character breakfasts over at the Pixar place.
Not yet, right?
No, and doubtful they will.
Because it's in California Adventure.
What? Oh, no, I'm talking about the hotel.
No, I know, but I'm saying isn't the character breakfast? Oh.
No, there's no character breakfast in the grotto. That I know of. I
thought it was in the grotto.
No.
Okay, never mind. Scratch that.
Yeah. No. So honestly, with Paradise Pier or Pixar Place, I would like to go stay at Pixar Place again now, and
to see the difference.
The reason is from what I've seen from other YouTubers and other vloggers, there's a whole lot of Pixar sketches all over the walls.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely that.
Yeah. Well, and as soon as you put drawings on in anything,
you're gonna love it.
I'm there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm there, and that's. Oh my goodness.
Two hours later.
Meredith's back, everybody. Okay. But yeah, I mean, if you honestly want to lose me for an hour, you put drawings on the wall.
I thought it was great. I mean, it's very accessible. It's so close to the entrances to California Adventure and Grand Californian that it's just as easy to get in and out of it as the Grand is. So, I mean,
indeed.
So I think staying there to see the refurb would be really fun. So
and it's just I like Pixar enough that it would be
cute.
It would be fun for me.
Yeah,
it would be fun.
The one thing we are for sure is we are an on-property family. We prefer to stay on property.
Very much.
Doesn't matter which coast it is, we will stay on property just because of some of the amenities that you can get if you stay on property. So off property, we're not very well versed, but there are a lot of partner hotels and partner places on both coasts that you can look at and could be a little more economical for you. Sometimes it's not. It just depends on really time of year, timing, what kind of deals you can get. If you're a frequent traveler and have hotel points and it's a good neighbor hotel, then awesome, use it. Like, I mean, we're not here to tell you to spend your money a certain way, but we're very much a on property family just because it makes it a whole lot easier.
It's a lot easier. It's a lot more convenient. It's a lot more comfortable.
We've found it to be that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you can afford it, yes, go for it.
Yeah.
Do it. If you are wanting to stay at one of the good neighbor hotels, Harbor Boulevard is chock full.
And you can walk right across the street into the entrance of Disneyland, so it's no big deal.
Exactly. And I mean, Harbor is, it's actually kind of a fun street to drive down because some of those hotels are just as exciting as the park itself.
Yeah, well, they've been around for a long time.
That's...
All right, let's switch coasts since on the hotel topic.
Oh my. Oh my.
I'm not going to name them all because there's 25. So
we can do the three big ones right in front of Magic Kingdom.
Yes. So the Polynesian, the Grand Floridian, and the Contemporary.
Right.
Those are kind of. Was the Grand Floridian an OG?
Nope.
It's the Polynesian and the Contemporary.
Yep.
I have not stayed in any of those, so I have zero reference. I've been in them and I've eaten at the Poly, but I've eaten in the Contemporary, walked around in those. The Mary Blair wall in the Contemporary is one of my favoriteest things in the world.
The concourse, the concourse wall with the five-legged goat.
If we want to talk about, mid-century modern me, there you go. So I don't have any frame of reference there. I've stayed at other places that you haven't stayed, so I can kind of give that. So your favorite.
My favorite. Okay.
And this is the world now, everyone. The world.
We are now over in Orlando. We are in Florida. My favorite, and just to give you some background, first off, before I name my favorite, I'm going to tell you where I've stayed. I've stayed at the Port Orleans French Quarter. Mm-hmm. I've stayed at Port Orleans Riverside. I've stayed at the Caribbean Beach Resort. And I've stayed at the Polynesian. And I've also stayed at the Animal Kingdom.
Lot.
Well...
The DVC side.
Yeah, the DVC side. We got lucky on that.
Village.
Yeah, Kidani Village. Yeah, I've stayed over there.
Snaps to that.
Definite. Now, to honestly pick my favorite, and this is going to be probably surprise all of you folks, considering who my sister is, what she does. It was not Animal Kingdom that was my favorite. I loved it.
Oh, no. Yeah,
I loved it. But it was not my favorite. My favorite was the Polynesian. There are two reasons. Nostalgia.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say duh.
And I'm also a real big fan of Hawaiian and Polynesian culture. So, yes, it's Disney-fied, but that didn't matter to me.
It literally has one of the best hotel restaurants, the Ohana.
Okay.
And they have these tiki torch things that look like they're licking the flame. It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Great bread pudding. The noodles were caused a major uproar because they took them away and they had to bring them back. And
sticky noodles?
Anywho, it is a good, like I said, I've eaten there. I haven't stayed there.
Yeah, and apparently the chicken that you can get with the noodles is
so good.
To die for.
So good.
So now I've only eaten breakfast at Ohana's.
Had dinner there. It's amazing. And if you
That's a character breakfast.
It is. The dinner, if you time it right and you sit by the windows, you can watch the fireworks and they pipe in the music.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool.
And that was something that was kind of fun for us when we stayed at the Polynesian. I really liked the fact of being out on the lanai of Trader Sam's watching the electric parade go across the water.
The electric water parade is the best.
Yeah.
But that's the best.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's fun. It has changed over the last 50 years. It's not the same as it was. But
it's
the reason,
so cute
because they update it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say Polynesian is my favorite.
Yeah.
And followed closely by Port Orleans French Quarter.
Okay.
The reason is the beignets.
And proximity to the other parks too, because the only downside about Animal Kingdom, and it's really, we're talking relative here. Animal Kingdom is the farthest out.
It has to be.
So it does take you the longest to travel back into the other parks, but yeah.
Now, okay, that is something else. I guess we're going to talk about that a little bit now, or should we wait until hold off on?
Well, I can go over my favorites.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, you're next. You got it.
So, Obvi, I will stay at Animal Kingdom all the time. I don't care. I don't care that it's far out. That is my vibe. I'm home there. I feel like myself. There's my favorite. Mm-hmm. So I've stayed at Animal Kingdom. I've stayed at Boardwalk. I've stayed at Port Orleans Riverside. I've stayed at the Riviera, and I've stayed at Copper Creek. So Animal Kingdom obviously is my favorite, but of all the other ones, they're actually tied between the Copper Creek cabins, and Copper Creek itself, and the Riviera.
Oh my! Okay.
I really enjoyed my time at the Riviera, and it's one of the Skyliner hotels.
Okay, now see, there's a plus right there.
So it's on the Skyliner loop, so you can go and it's right across the street from Epcot, and it's right across the street from Hollywood. So and the towers are amazing. You can watch the fireworks from there for Epcot and Magic Kingdom.
Exactly.
It is and it is a beautiful hotel. It is super cool to be on the Skyliner. So that was what. But the cabins in Copper Creek and the Copper Creek Hotel is a mimic of the Grand Californian.
Okay.
And it's kind of the Pacific Northwest flavor. It's very mid-century modern, very woodsy, very Frank Lloyd Wright. Like the whole vibe there is amazing. And the cabins are so cool. And you talked about the electric light parade. They sail right in front of you because the cabins have a view of the river or the lake.
Yeah, the
and
Seven Seas Lagoon.
You can sit there and the parade goes right in front of you and you
Right
can
on.
sit and watch the thing. And if you
Right
have a cabin that has the right view, you can watch the fireworks from Magic Kingdom because they pipe in the music.
Okay.
So I have a tie between those two. I enjoyed the boardwalk as well because, again, it's a Skyliner hotel. It's on the loop.
Right
you could
on.
walk directly into the back of Epcot.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, that
And
was something I wanted to talk about there.
Yeah, so that one's really great. I really enjoyed Riverside too. I mean, like you could catch a boat and go to any of those as well. So
Yes.
Again, with Florida and going to the world, there's a lot of budget friendlies. There's a lot of mids, and there's a lot of more highs.
The deluxe resorts
Yeah.
are just that. They are deluxe
Deluxe.
resorts. Okay.
So
Now, interesting thing about Disney World, if you are a member of the Armed Services, there is a specific resort that you can attend or that you can go and
to.
stay at.
Mhm.
It's called the Shades of Green. And if you are planning on doing that, definitely work with a travel agent or work directly with the cast members.
Mm-hmm.
This is easier than you think, folks. It really is. To plan a vacation and to get it booked, they've made it very, very easy.
Mm-hmm.
They've made it very easy. So, but yeah, if you're a member of the Armed Services, Shades of Green. Now, I don't know if they do veterans there. I don't think they do. I think you have to be currently
active.
I think you have to be active.
there, but they do give a veterans discount, a very
Yeah.
significant veterans discount.
Yes, indeed.
So that's Florida. I would say if I ever, if I'm going to default, and we have some advantages with some family members that are DVC, or the Disney Vacation Club that we get to reap the benefits with, which is amazing. I would say, like, if Animal Kingdom is not available, or there's options, it would be Copper Creek or Riviera would be my favorites.
Okay. I have yet to stay at either of those.
You
So,
would love Copper Creek.
if it's that whole arts and crafts thing that
It
you were
is.
talking about.
You will love it.
Yeah. The other place I do want to stay, though, is the Wilderness Lodge. Because that whole, it kind of looks like the Yellowstone Lodge,
Yeah.
and I want to go
Yeah.
to that. I want to
Yeah.
go see that. Yeah.
It's cool. So choosing your hotel at either park based on budget, but this is where it's similar at either park is your tickets.
Oh,
and
Lord.
getting your tickets and deciding, deciding.
Yeah.
Because you can get a single day ticket for one park, or you can do something where it's called park hoppers, and that gives you the opportunity to go to any of the parks within one day. They've actually kind of lifted some of those restrictions on that, so you can park hop any time of day. They are asking that you have like a designated park that you check into, and then you go to any
Right.
of the other parks.
Exactly.
So say, for example, your first day you're going to go to Epcot, but you also want to have the freedom to go quickly over to Hollywood because you want to hit something.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to check into Epcot first before you can park hop over
Right.
to that. But those park hopper tickets give you that opportunity to go to any of the parks that you want to. That's Florida. Same thing in California. If you want to do Disneyland and California Adventure in the same day because, you want the freedom to go ride Radiator Springs because the
Right.
wait time is 2 seconds.
Right.
Never going to happen. But,
The time of day, though, issue is still active in Anaheim.
Anaheim, yeah.
And the reason is because they want to try to control the amount of crowds that are going in and out of those parks as best they possibly can. The reason is they don't have the space that they do in Orlando.
To spread it out.
But yeah, you can say that you make your park reservation and you have a park hopper pass but you make your park reservation for Disneyland. You can go ahead, go into Disneyland, do a few things in Disneyland. By 11 o'clock,
You can head over.
you can go over to California Adventure.
Here's the other big advantage of staying on property too, is if you stay on property at either coast, either the land or the world, there are early entry for resort guests, and you get to take advantage of that. So one of the things that they are doing now is like alternating between early entry on Disneyland and California Adventure. So that way it spreads the crowds out. And then in Florida, they spread those out as well.
Indeed,
So
indeed.
you get in a half an hour to hour and a half an hour early.
I think it's still only a half
Half
hour
an hour early.
in Anaheim.
And
I think it's an hour early.
in Florida. It makes
Yeah.
a big difference, especially if you're going to hit those big, huge, long line rides, like or the big roller coasters or whatever.
If you are what is called a rope dropper, then yeah, it works more in your benefit at Disney World than it does
Yes.
at Disneyland.
Yeah.
At Disneyland, you're not special. I'm sorry, everybody's a rope dropper at Disneyland, okay? They're lining up there at least an hour before opening.
Always. But there's a great, neat ceremony that happens when you...
Oh, the good morning.
The good morning ceremony is
Oh.
worth it, so you gotta do it, and you get to watch like the characters do a little dances, and it's the best.
That's another thing I'm going to put in here. I will
It's
put
so
in
good.
I will put in the video of the good morning, the short video that Alyce was able to take of the good morning.
It was so good. It was the Mickey Mouse theme song, and
Oh, why?
it was so good. It was.
Well, I mean,
know.
because we are those children. Okay, we are those children. So
Yes.
it was
So good.
it was like it was meant for us.
And
It really
so
was. Yeah, it felt like that.
There's
So-
some things that make it worth it actually going really early,
Right.
and so that's why it's cool.
Now, see, and in Anaheim, the availability with the park hopper thing is fantastic because you're able to do both parks and you can do it quick. You can do it easy.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily need the park hopper if you're staying there for more than 3 days. Here's why. Because since we travel and we usually plan a park a day, what do we need a park hopper for?
Well, I'll give you the reason why.
Okay.
So we, for your birthday, did a dinner at one park, but we played in the other.
Yeah.
So that's where the park hopper actually came in and was beneficial.
Right. Yeah.
Because we couldn't necessarily get the reservation on the day we were in that park.
Exactly.
So having the park hopper gave us that freedom to be able to go back and forth and hit that and hit some of the things that were must-dos for
Right.
us, and not having to buy another ticket.
Right. Now, if you folks are not under that type of constraint, I guess it's not a constraint,
And it's
an additional want.
yeah.
If you're not under that particular additional want, then park hopper's not really necessary and not really
You can
needed.
get away with not having it.
Yeah, because if you're going to go do Disneyland on Tuesday and then California Adventure on Wednesday, great. Fantastic. Maybe you only need one day.
One
that's
day park hopper that last day.
You know.
Here's the other thing to think about too, is that if you look at the ticket prices and time of year, the park hopper may only be $20 to $30 more
Exactly.
per person.
Exactly.
So in that case, yeah, it's worth it.
Yep.
High traffic, high season, it may be up to $50 to $60 more. So, that's where you get into that, where you can kind of pick your battles with that and decide what
Exactly.
you want to do. But
Yeah.
we do recommend that you do one park a day, so that way you can dedicate your time there, create your list of what you want to do, or,
Right.
kind of not must-dos, but there are some things that are, especially if it's your first time, there are some things that are highly recommended that you do hit, just because they're
Exactly.
classic Disney things. If you're a frequent goer, I think some things to think about is that you can actually do either coast and not ride a ride.
Exactly.
You can go there and there's plenty to do without riding rides, and you still are getting a really cool experience.
Right. And still, one of my bucket list things when I go to the park again is I'm going to find a bench
Yeah.
with my drawing pad and my pencils, and I'm just going to sit and draw.
Yeah.
And I have a bad feeling that I will probably end up sort of attracting characters.
Oh, that's so bad.
I know.
That's so terrible.
Yeah, just
man.
turn my arm. But no, seriously though. But because
It'll be fun though. That's cool.
It would be wonderful if
Yeah.
I'm sitting there trying to draw Donald and Donald
Walks up.
peeks over my shoulder. That would be so much fun. It'd be so much fun.
So the advantage of park hopping in Disneyland, California, is that it's walking across the quad.
Yeah, the
It's
Esplanade.
easy. Esplanade, sorry.
Yeah.
In Florida, it's a little bit more challenging. However, Disney has done some great things with Disney transportation to make it easier for you. There is a bus service that runs from all of the resorts
Yes.
to all of the parks.
Yes.
And you don't have to necessarily be staying at that hotel to catch that. I've done, you got to play the game sometimes where you are at a park, but the buses are running a little late. So you take a resort bus and then you go to a different resort and then you take another bus from that resort to where you want to go. So it's kind of, you have to make some exchanges.
Yeah, and you have to pay attention to it too. The reason is the farther the resorts are away from the park, the longer it will take for the bus to get there. Case in point, Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Animal Kingdom is a 20-minute ride from the resort to whatever park.
To wherever you're going.
Except
for Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom.
It's like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just down the road.
It's just down the road.
Yeah.
So there is bus service. One of the cool things if you're staying on the resort is on the lagoon or the waterway is you can take boats to it. So from like Epcot, Boardwalk, Yacht and Beach, you can take a boat to Hollywood Studios, Disney Springs.
Yep.
So there's water transportation.
That was
as
one of
well.
the cool things about the Port
Orleans and Port Riverside.
Yes,
That was cool.
That was one of the cool things, is because, it's like, I really wish that there was a monorail, but wait, there's a boat.
There's boats.
Yeah.
With the kind of the deluxe resorts, it's on the monorail loop.
Yeah.
So you can take the monorail from Hollywood, Epcot. One of the two. Epcot. And take it into Magic Kingdom. So there's taking the monorail around. The Skyliner is actually, I call that a bonus ride, like the monorail is, because it's you get to fly in the sky.
Yeah, it's the old sky buckets.
Yeah, I think I have some video that you can throw in there. I love it. And they're wrapped with some different characters, so you get to kind of watch the characters as they go with some of the Pixar movies. So it's really cool. There's some great transportation opportunities, so you don't necessarily have to rent a car and worry about that. Disney's taking care of it for you. There's also, they have like an Uber service, right?
Yeah, that's the minivans.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are truly minivans covered in red and white polka dots.
Yeah, they're a little expensive though, from what I understand.
They are somewhat expensive, yes. But with what you would be paying for an Uber anyway, I would say they're comparable.
Yeah.
But if you're not into spending extra, then don't do it. There are ways to get around.
Or if you have a time constraint, because the cool thing about minivans is it is direct door to door.
Right.
With some of these other ones, it's not direct door to door, and it takes more time.
And they're not necessarily ADA friendly. Okay. If you want a guarantee of ADA friendly, stick with the bus service at the resorts.
Well, and the Skyliners are good too, though. The Skyliners are good for that as well.
I would expect so.
Yeah, I would say that because they're the newer, so they have to follow the regulations. But
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I said, we can do an entire episode just on Disney World unto itself, and we should.
We should. Yeah.
It should be a thing that we do. With comparatively with Anaheim, again, you can walk everywhere, or you got your electric scooter, or you got your wheelchairs, or you do whatever. I mean, it's just not that far away.
The cool thing too with the monorail in Disneyland is you can catch it out of Fantasyland. Is it Fantasyland? Tomorrowland. You can catch it out of Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
And it drops you off at downtown Disney, and it actually drops you off closer to the Disneyland Hotel.
Yes.
So that makes that walk a little bit shorter, because I was talking about the Disney Death March, which is just walking and not really taking the rests that you need to do. So you're exhausted at the end of the day.
And don't try and leave the park with everybody else after the fireworks.
No.
please don't do it.
Pause for the cause.
That's right. And I would also say, don't go into the stores after the fireworks either. The temptation to shop your way out is very big. Okay? I understand it. I've done it. This last time when Kat and I went, we said, oh yeah, we'll just go ahead and shop our way out. No.
Yeah.
No. But besides that, there was no way I was going to take that car.
Well, I was going to say, with your scooter...
With the Emporium?
Yeah, no. I wouldn't. Yeah.
Nope.
It's kind of difficult.
Nope. Now, I could get up for a little bit and I could walk around. And I did. And I found out just how crazy crowded it was.
Yeah.
And I walked right back out. But that was me. Okay?
Yeah.
That's just me. All right. So now I'm going to change gears again.
Okay.
But I'm going to ask you the same type of question you were asking me about, which is better. Land or world?
Oof. It's so loaded. It is because
it's not an easy question.
It's not an easy question because we are definitely default. Let's go. Okay. The reason I like Disneyland is because it's the original. It's closer and we can do it in a weekend. Like it doesn't require a whole extended vacation.
Exactly.
That though is really the fun part of Disney World is that it does take you, and if you want to break and have a real remove yourself from life and just play like a kid and escape.
Yes.
That allows you to do that in a really convenient way as well. As far as, parks go, obviously Animal Kingdom is my all-time favorite park.
No question.
My all-time, I just rode this last trip. Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind is the best roller coaster I've ever been on in my entire life. I really have no words for it. It has redeemed Epcot in my book because Epcot has always been my least favorite park.
Agreed.
Hello.
Yeah. No.
The best roller coaster I've ever been on in my entire life. I loved it. I just was I got off the thing and I called you right away.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
It was amazing. It was amazing. If you go on his channel and do the Epcot day and you see me coming off of that ride, oh my gosh. That is the most amazing ride. And we got Cheers for Fears, which is from Real Genius, which is my favorite movie in the whole wide world. That was amazing. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
I have created a playlist called the Walt Disney World Challenges, the WDW Challenges. Okay. You can go there, you can find Epcot Day, and you can see Alice's experience. We could not get any video.
I didn't try. I could have videoed it. I could have. But
but
it was so good. It was so good. I can't even. So, there's some things in Florida that aren't in California because they are not mirror images of one another. They are not identical.
No,
there's a lot of uniqueness to either park. So if you do want to do both of them, you do it because they're not the same. The flavor and the vibe is the same because it's Disney, but there's very unique things to it.
I would even argue that.
I mean, it's a Disney experience.
I would even argue there's a very different flavor and feel for Disney World than there is for Disneyland.
I see where you're going with that, but I'm just saying, it's that how Disney takes care of you as a guest.
The Disney,
and how the Disney magic
experience.
And the Disney experience.
Yeah.
That is the same.
No, agreed.
But yeah, they are different parks.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a kind of a loaded question. I don't know if I could say one over the other. It's just what kind of moment I want.
Right. Well, and that's the way it is for me as well. I can't. I have a very difficult time saying that one is better than the other. And it's just because there's enough difference between the two that I know what I'm getting when I go. And I know what I want to get when I go.
I was going to say, and it's strategically booked for the type of experience we're wanting. So that when we're planning it and we're going through all of the things that we want and the booking and the buying, We're going for a specific experience.
Right. And if I want the experience of, I don't want to have to drive anywhere, I don't want to have to worry about what traffic's going to be like, and I don't want to have to worry about pretty much anything, I'm going to go to World. Okay. The reason is because I'm almost fully taken care of there.
Yes.
Almost fully.
I would say, yeah, all the way.
You know?
Yeah.
That would be the benefit in my mind of the World. The land is nostalgia.
Well, and it's, yeah.
You know, it's just nostalgia.
But see, and then I go to Radiator Springs is one of my all-time favorite rides in the whole wide world.
Exactly.
Like, and it redeemed California Adventure for me because for a while there, that was a little bit of a moment, and I was like,
that park was rough. Okay.
And then they put in Cars Land, and it's like,
yeah,
chef's kiss because it's so good. It's so much fun. So, yeah, I mean, there's things that what you're looking for.
Exactly. Well, California Adventure. I will even mention Avengers Campus in California Adventure. Now, I'm disappointed with it.
Well, I have no reference. I don't care.
The only reason I'm disappointed with it is you have maybe 2 attractions there. The character meet and greets are sparse. They are scheduled, yes, but it's one of those get you in, get you out, get you gone. They have the shows, sure, but again, they're not as engaging as I'd expect from Disney. But that is something that I will mention about the Disneyland Resort in total. Characters are easier to meet.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a plus. That's a pro there for Disneyland for the California. They are not as easy to interact with and meet at Disney World. You have to actually. There are times in certain characters you have to actually go get a lightning lane or do a Genie Plus thing to meet a character.
Like, for example, Mickey Mouse, you have to do
or
a
the
lightning,
princesses.
or the princesses. Yeah. They are actually in an attraction.
Yeah.
So to speak. So
yeah, exactly.
The walking around, there's more walking around of folks in Disneyland than there is in Disney World. However, I mean, it's just like I said, it's just the differences of the 2 parks with them. Exactly. So yeah, I don't know if I could pick one over the other. It's just more of the type of experience that I'm going for.
Exactly.
And what you're planning for, and just being smart about it. And getting, finding the deals too of where to go with that.
Well, yeah. What kind of kid do you want to be?
And how many dollars do you have to spend?
Well, there's that, of course. But
it's gonna make a big deal.
As far as the vibe goes, what kind of kid do you want to be? I mean, do you want that old school feel, or do you want to be a little bit more updated? Yeah. What that's
a little more modern. Yeah.
That's how I would pick.
A lot of choices besides really a lot of choices.
Right. Exactly. Do I need to be overwhelmed, or do I need to just go to Disneyland?
Yeah. So, I don't know if I could pick one.
Okay.
I'm not going to.
All right, then.
I got things about each one that I really like, and there's things about each one that are kind of challenging,
Sure.
I think some of the downsides to Florida is that it costs more.
Yeah.
You have to have more time to do it all. It's not necessarily just but where we're located in particular, because the travel is such a big deal. When I was in Texas, it was very similar to like going to Disneyland here. It's a 2-hour flight.
Right.
2-hour flight, you're there. Boom, boom, boom. So it made it a little bit easier.
But yeah, I still firmly believe that really, honestly, no matter where you're from, Disney World is an investment.
Yeah.
And it's an investment of more than just money.
And time. Yeah, time is a big one.
Yeah, it's an investment of time. It's an investment of money. It's an investment of, your attention.
But I think it's a worthy investment because if you're looking at really wanting to spend and not worrying and getting, not letting the stress of the place and the vastness of it and just really keeping your sphere small when you're there.
Oh, yes.
And focusing on your family, you can have some very cool magical moments.
There are
that
those,
are really great at either park, but there's some nice times.
There are those attendees who never leave the resort. They never go to the park.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they just stay.
They become room gremlins.
Yeah. The resorts are
why
great.
not?
The resorts are great. So.
They're engineered to keep you there. There's a lot there.
Yeah.
At the Polynesian, if I wanted to, I could spend 3 days at the Polynesian and never see a park.
Yeah, and don't leave.
So there we are.
I think one of maybe some of the downsides to Disneyland is that it is older. So now with some of your mobility challenges, it makes some of those much more difficult. Fantasyland is coming to mind. It's hard enough. It's hard enough to maneuver around Disneyland on 2 good legs.
Yeah, and the bottlenecks
and
in
the
Fantasyland
bottlenecks are terrible.
They're unreal.
So, and it's magnified now that it's not just, I'm going to bebop and move around in between people. Like, you have to part the waters because of the cart, like.
The lady with the horn.
Please don't ever become that person.
Oh my gosh. Going down Main Street and we're hearing that.
Meep, 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 so bad.
And at one time, you turned around and looked at me at one point when you heard the horn, and it's like,
I didn't do it. Because I was like, you better not be on that.
It wasn't me.
So,
No, I was embarrassed enough about the backup beeper getting in and out of the elevator, getting in and out of the monorail. That was so funny. I had enough with that.
That was so funny. That was so fun. That was that was so good.
It was shrill.
It was loud, and you're in a room of hard surfaces, and it echoes. It was so good. It was so good.
I'm just a man lost in a box of emotions.
A glass box of emotion. It was so good. It was
great. It was great.
Funny. And honestly, you have to laugh about it because what else are you gonna do?
Well, you're gonna get mad and you're gonna bounce around like a bee in a can and wind up right back where you were in the first place.
It was just so funny.
No.
But, is it a perfect vacation? Can be.
Yeah, that's up to you.
Well, it's choices for sure.
That's up to the individual.
And it's just taking what the park gives you. Either park, it's taking, like really looking at it. And in the whole planning process, to be really strategic about if you're going to do it yourself, then think about timing and really work with the cast members to see if there's any discounts or anything that are working that. If you go through a concierge vacation planning service,
yes,
they are able to find deals for you that you really can't find on your own necessarily, which is really an advantage of going through that. And 99% of them, the quotes and their work are free. They make a commission off of the sales, but you don't pay them anything. They do all of that work on your behalf, and you don't have to pay them anything. And that's a great advantage. And they take all that time. So all the time that you'd be sitting on the phone with Disney cast members, that they'll do that for you. So,
Now, see, that was the thing that I actually liked doing this last time I went, is because I got to be that guy.
You got to be that guy, which is, it depends on what kind of experience you want, because we find the planning part of the process and the joy of it all. So
exactly.
Yay.
I like to get my hands dirty with that, and maybe someday I might end up doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe this will lead to that. I don't know yet.
Could be a job, Find your new side hustle, whatever.
Well, and now that I'm starting to get around better and better.
Sure. Why not?
And the thing is that I would be able to be an advocate for those people that need the DAS or the ADA or whatever.
And ask the right questions for them.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, my particular client has a need. How do we get from point A to point B?
Yeah. How do we make it easy?
Right.
Which is,
that could work.
Yeah.
But as far as the concierge services or the planner services, Lonette and Tom.
Yeah. So this is they're our go-to.
We are not being paid for this?
No.
Okay.
Other than we love them dearly.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, they're family.
They're family. So we
They're
get
family.
to do things.
I've known Tom since I was in high school. Okay.
He is our brother.
He was the best man at my wedding.
Yeah, he's our best friend, or yours.
Well,
ours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's family.
He's family.
He became family.
They are all his family's our family, and it's,
exactly.
And they are the other side of this whole Disney family that we've created for ourselves. And
now they are the vacation club people and the annual pass holders and
which future podcasts, we can zoom them in and probably ask some good questions.
That would be, actually, that's not a bad idea. I think we might want to do that.
Just to help with some of that idea of what's going on.
Yeah, if they like to be on camera, I can figure out how to zoom and do the thing.
Tom does. Tom will be great.
Okay.
You and Tom were in theater together.
Well, I was going to say, Tom and I we're drama kids.
Shock.
And, sorry, not sorry.
So they are a part of Magical Vacation Planners.
Yes.
And they are concierge planners for Disney parks and Universal and a bunch of cruise lines. So it's not just Disney only. And so international travel. They do all of the things. So we utilize them a lot, especially when it comes to Florida planning.
Yes.
They did help us with our Disneyland trip.
Yes.
And they were, one of the best parts of having them do the Disneyland trip is because it did get postponed.
Yeah.
And they were able to contact Disney directly.
Exactly.
And change all of those plans, because part of it was you were in the hospital. Chris was busy. We were all like, it was kind of a traumatic moment.
I was freaking out because I was losing more of my foot at that time, and I didn't think that I was ever going to be able to go again.
Right.
And
So Tom and Lon on the phone immediately, called Disney, got everything moved for us. Actually ended up getting us a room upgrade.
Yes.
Because they have ins and ways of asking those right questions, and we got upgraded to a really cool on the strip, so to speak.
Yeah. We had a view of Disney, downtown Disney.
Yeah. and the Magic Kingdom's entry. Like we could look on our balcony, and there's the front gate.
Well, yeah, it was the back showroom for the Haunted Mansion and Indiana Jones.
Yeah, so it was really cool. So we were, they were able to kind of figure out and get us some specials that they knew we could get because of them being a concierge planning service.
Exactly.
So, we'll actually put a tag in the description of their services if that's something that you are interested in. Once again, it is 100% free. Their services are 100% free. You don't pay them to do any of the work. They get paid in a commission off of the bookings.
That's right.
So when you book and pay Disney or pay Universal or pay whoever, that's when they get paid. So their services are 100% free.
No money comes directly to them from you.
No. They get paid by the services. So it's well worth it. When they do really good work and are able to do not just Disney, they do a lot of other things. So.
Indeed. And please take advantage of that, because like I've mentioned it before in some of my videos with Tom and Lonette, they do so much more than Disney, and it's well worth your time.
It is.
It's
Especially
well worth your time.
If you don't have the time to sit on the phone, like working directly with the cast members, they are amazing people. They are great. Disney Travel and Disney Travel agents who you work with on the phone are really awesome about helping you and planning and trying to find some deals for you. They can work on that as well. And you are going directly to Disney, so that it sort of takes the middleman out, but you have to put in the effort and you have to take the time. And sometimes you're sitting on hold waiting for somebody to answer for a significantly long time.
Yes.
So some things to keep in mind with that.
Well, there is that, but that was also something about the after hours events. And I think that's going to be a podcast unto itself of my experiences trying to book Oogie Boogie Bash.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a nightmare. That was a nightmare. And that will be in a future episode. It really will. I mean, that's something I still want to talk about and get off my chest.
All right.
Anyway, so coming up, since we're now on to the Disney stuff.
Yeah, I think we should talk about what we do in the parks and how we plan our days.
I think that'd be a good, for the next episode. That's seriously.
I think it's really good because, full disclosure, I plan my movement around Disneyland based on the snacks I would like to eat.
Exactly.
And where I would like to have lunch or dinner. And I'll ride this ride because I'm right here having this snack.
Right. So exactly.
Not gonna lie.
Seriously.
Not even gonna lie. That's seriously how I do that. So I don't have that necessarily at Disney World yet. Yet. I'm building that.
There are certain places in Hollywood studios that I know that I will go to eat.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I will do Brown Derby
Oh,
Every time.
oh.
Every time I will do Brown Derby. I love it.
That experience for lunch was amazing.
So good.
Absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, okay. We'd had to wait because we weren't on a reservation for it
20 minutes.
at best.
And we were there in a really peak time.
It was
so,
we were there in October.
yeah.
We
So
were there
anyway,
over your birthday weekend.
we
Yeah.
will I think the next one we'll talk about how we do each park and
Yeah.
what our strategy is and things to do, things not to do. Maybe, looking at if you aren't a rider,
Exactly.
you can still have a great time. So
Well, and I can, share with you my experience having a little bit of the mobility challenges going on.
mm-hmm.
Oh, Meredith's back.
there it is back.
Yay. All right,
So-
folks. Well, that, I think, is about going to wrap it up for us tonight.
Here's the parting thought.
Uh-oh. What's the parting thought?
You need to, if you want to go to Disney, go to Disney.
Yes. Yes.
Go.
Yes.
Get out there, try it. I would say Disneyland first, get that magic, and then maybe move into Disney World. But if you want to go to Disney World, go to Disney World. I think you just need to go.
Yeah, and like you said, if you're going to do Disney, do Disney.
Yeah, do it.
All right, folks. Thanks very much for coming with us. And next time, we'll talk a little bit more about what we do when we're at the park.
How to have fun.
All right. Thanks again, folks.